it's better to ask at the beginning. All right, it's much better to ask at the beginning. Kind of like yesterday, we'll just go through and do the odds, and then I'll have the evens for you. All right. Now, someone tell me, what do you think the square root of 7 times the square root of 5 is, Emily? Yep, square root of 35. I know I said it was a little bit harder, all right, but in this case, it starts out very what? Very easy. Square root of 35. All right. Now, again, super simple. What we're going to do now is just go ahead and continue on. So number 3 is probably what? Yeah, square root of 55. All right. Obviously, very, very easy. All right. And then when we talk about number 5, we'll easily be able to say that's just the same as square root of 30m. Easy enough. Okay. And now number 7. Yep, square root of 30x. All right, again, just following the rules. And so now they're trying to mess with you here. And again, just the square root of 42. All right, now we change gears a little bit, or a little bit different. Number 11. What is that? Square root of 36, which is what?
6 times 6. So 3.
What? No. Square root of 36 is what? 6. 36 is a perfect square. Everybody with me on that? All right. Now something I want you to hear. All right. The square root of 10 times the square root of 10, it is square root of 100, but I don't want you to say it's the square root of 100. I just want you to tell me it's what?
10.
It's 10. All right, now I'm going to highlight something here. Square roots mean that you're taking them out in groups of 2. You take them out in groups of 2. How many 10s do you see? 2. If there are 2 10s, it just comes out as a what? As a single 10. All right, is everybody okay with that? So I want you to recognize square root of 10 times square root of 10 is what? 10. Just like if I said the square root of 53 times the square root of 53, you would say what?
53.
You're not going to multiply 53 times 53 and then tell me the square root of that number. Right? That would not make any sense. All right? Now the reason why I'm stressing that is because number 15 is important. All right? Everybody on 15 should be able to just look at that and tell me the obvious answer is 6 radical 3. Now, of course, you don't know how to do that right this second, but your job, instead of saying what, is to look up there and say, well, how in the world did he get 6 radical 3? And try to figure out how I knew that was 6 radical 3. And then once you think you can tell me, why don't you raise your hand? Go.
Isn't it 8 divided by 6?
No.
Or 18?
I'm not sure. Go.
6 is 6 is 6, and 18 divided by 6 is 3.
What did you think, Virginia? That's not a bad thought, actually. All right, but more importantly, and you kind of said the same thing. More importantly, instead of telling me that 16 times 8 is 108, and then breaking 108 down to 36 times 3, does everybody listen to what I'm saying now? You're looking for numbers, all right, that there are 2 of. So, in my opinion, instead of multiplying, we might as well make 18 what? We might as well make 18 6 and 3. Now, you could have broken 18 down to 9 and 2, but then we'd have to break it down again, all right, with the 6. So listen to what I'm saying. I think everybody in here can see 18 is 6 times 3. Now, why is that important to be 6 times 3? Because now, what is common?
3.
No,
6.
what is common? The 6 is common. All right? Now, I also should have probably put up here, that's still the square root of 6 times 3, right? So what I'm trying to show you is the same principle as up here. Because these numbers are the same, the answer is just 10. Because the 6 and the 6 are equal, there's a 6 here. But somebody was left all alone, and that was what? The 3 was left all alone. Because you can't come out of the radical unless you have a friend. All right? You have to come out in pairs of 2. All right? Everybody okay with that? All right, so let's see if you understand what I mean here. So everybody should be able to look at 17 and just say, that is obviously what? No. You're not listening. You're not listening if that's what you think the answer is. What?
2 radical 3.
Close. What?
2 radical 3x.
Nope.
2x radical 3.
Thank you. Oh, nope.
2x radical 3.
2x radical 3. Now remember, some of you guys, and this is kind of the way I feel about even standardized tests. I was helping some people yesterday. Sometimes you think so fast, you just say things. It is much better to be accurate. It's much better to be accurate. There's no reason to rush. We're not in a hurry. Think about it. What is common with 2 and 6? There's a common 2. What's common with x and x? X. What was left behind? A 3. Now how did I know it was a 3? Because here I just changed that to 2x times 3. Come on, it's important to be able to break down a radical just like I said. All right? Could you multiply 2x times 6x and get the square root of 12x squared and then break that down into 4 times 3x squared, which is 2x radical 3? Yeah, you can do that, but that's boring. All right? Your job is to be able to look at the numbers and tell me what the answer is. All right? So number 19, is there anything common with 3 and 7?
No.
If there's nothing common, just multiply it together. Now you're allowed to multiply irrationals, and you're allowed to multiply rationals. You're never going to multiply an irrational with a what? Rational. That's it. All right, is everybody with me? Now don't forget, there's a what in front here? A 1. So your obvious answer here is just what? 2 radical 21. All right? So my answer for 21 is probably what? 15 radical 21. Simple as that. Any issues? All right, here we go. Okay, now I'd want everybody to look at that and just say that is obviously 30 radical 2. Someone explain. What?
Isn't the 5 in 5, so you break down the 10 to 5 times 2?
Yep.
And the 2, 5 are common. And so
Yep.
you multiply the 5 by the 2, and then it'd be 30, I mean 3 times 10.
That's exactly correct, guys. Everybody can do that. Exactly correct. All right? Does everybody agree there's a common square root of 5? So 5 times 2 times 3 is 30. And what's left behind? The 2. Now, again, I really want you to tell me if you're not seeing it. So if you're still having a little bit of trouble seeing it, this is how you should do it. Just what he said. Break the 10 down to 5 and 2. Now, what? This 5 and this 5 comes out as a what? 5. And now when you pull something out, you always do what? Multiply. So it's 5 times 3 times 2, and what's left behind? The 2. Very simple. All right? Now we have kind of a new topic. All right? The new topic now is just distributive property, just like we've always done. All right, instead of distributing numbers or variables, we're just going to distribute a radical. All right? So somebody now, please tell me the answer to number 25. Go ahead, Emily. So I like what you said, radical 10 But tell me what radical 25 is. Shh. Yeah, there you go. So we don't even say radical 25 ever. It's like saying radical 36. You're not going to say that anymore, right? If it's a perfect square. But more importantly, do I really even want you multiplying 5 times 5 together? No. Just leave it as 5. Square root of 5 times square root of 5 is 5. All right, so now your job right now is to try 27 and see if you're good. All right, see if you're good. Somebody tell me the answer. Go. Good for you. 2 radical 15 minus what? How's it feel? Good. Easy. I'm telling you, pay attention. Listen, it's very easy. Follow directions. Make yourself a few notes on your iPad that'll help, clarify something if you're not 100% sure. Because what's true about 28? 28 is the same as what? 27. So if you can do 27, you should be able to do what? You should be able to do 28. That's why this was created that way. All right, so you look at one to see the other. All right, now I want everybody to take a look at 29. All right. Now, if I said something like x plus 2 times x minus 3, we did x times x, then we did the smiley faces, and then we multiplied, correct? That's why I teach it that way. Because we're going to apply that to this. Nothing different. All right? So what's square root of 3 times square root of 3? 3. We don't say square root of 9. We say 3. Then, what's this? No. 5 radical 3. Thank you. Then what's this? Who said that? Good job. And then what? Plus 15. Come on. Good. Plus 15. Now, we're just looking at this and this. What's that? 18. And then we're looking at, what's that? Plus 8 radical 3. Perfect. Everybody see? Simple, simple. All right. Moving forward. All right, let's see how you're doing. Square root of 5 times square root of 5. 5. How much here? What is that? Well, you didn't look at the board. Negative 1 radical 5. And then what's this one? Say it now.
3 radical 5.
Come on, guys. Plus 3 radical 5. And then finally what? Negative what? Negative 3. I don't think that's that hard. Now the next move is just combine like terms. What's 5 minus 3? 2 plus 2 radical 5. Everybody okay with that? Not bad, right? All right, here we go. Let's try 33. Square root of 5 times square root of 5 is 5. I like to do this one first, so that's what?
2 radical 5.
And then this one is positive 2 radical 5. And then what? Minus 4. So what happens in the middle term? So, final answer. After all that, it's just a 1. All right, let's see how we're doing. Square root of 10 times square root of 10. 10. Here we go. How much is that? plus 5 radical 10. How much is this? And then minus 25. Everybody good with that? So final answer. Negative 15. That's not bad at all. All right, let's continue on. Square root of x times square root of x. X. What happens to the middle term, guys? Cancels out, right? So if you're smart and you can see them, like we did with binomials, the middle term cancels out. You don't even have to put it down there. So it's going to be x what? X minus 9. X minus 9. Then I have square root of 3 plus 2 times square root of 3 plus 2. 3 plus 2 radical 3 plus 2 radical 3 plus 4. Final answer there. Help me out. 7 plus 4 radical 3. All right, let's take a look at number 41 now. Square root of y minus 5. Square root of y minus 5. Square root of y times square root of y is y minus 5 radical y minus 5 radical y. Look how easy that is. Now the only two you can combine are the what? The middle terms, right? So that becomes is everybody agreeing? That's not hard. Anybody have any issues? If you can multiply the binomials together, you know what we were doing a month ago, this is the same rule, same pattern. Just following the rules of radicals now. All right. Now what we're going to do here is I'm going to get into a little bit of division, but we're going to do a lot more on tomorrow on division, right? So what does the square root of 98 divided by the square root of 2 equal? Square root of 49. And what's the square root of 49? Beautiful. 7. All right, so you can reduce radicals just like a fraction. So what's 72 divided by 2?
6.
So now I have the square root of 36a squared, which is the same as
6a.
6a, right? Now again, it's been a day or two, so if you're not sure, if you don't remember, let me know. Everybody good on that, right? Yeah, nothing to it. All right, let's take a look now at 47. All right, 47, we have a problem. First thing I want to remind you of is this, guys. 4 plus 3 over 4. Cross out the 4s, that becomes a 4. Does everybody agree or disagree? Yeah, definitely disagree.
Yeah, I disagree.
Yeah. You cannot reduce through addition and subtraction. You can only reduce through what? You can only reduce through multiplication. So I need to show you something up here. All right? So please stay with me. That was a really bad idea. You cannot cross out the 4s. Somebody tell me what the square root of 48 from 2 days ago. What is that?
Square root of 48 is
What does that break down to?
not 8.
No. Come on. 48. I told you to remember. 16 and 3. So I want you to say that's 4 plus 4 radical 3 over 4. Now, if you forgot that, just make sure you make yourself a note. 48 equals 3 times 16. You can do 4 times 12, then you're going to have to break it down again. Now, are all of the numbers divisible by 4? And the answer is yes. So look and listen. This is divisible by 4, this is divisible by 4, this is divisible by 4. Notice I'm only highlighting the rational numbers. You divide the rational numbers. All right? So this right here is 1 plus radical 3. Now I should go ahead and put a 1 in there just to make sure you see it properly. Because 4 divided by 4 is what? 1. Now again, that's kind of, to me, the only tricky thing. Does anybody have any questions with that? Anybody have any questions? All right, let's try 175. How many quarters are in $1.75? 7. That's how you should remember. All right? So this now becomes 5 plus 5 radical 7 over 5. So now that's the same as what?
1 plus radical 7 over 1.
Yep, 1 plus radical 7. Now, 512 is kind of hard, but just watch. Here's how I know 512. 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512. So it's a multiple of 2. 512 is a multiple of 2. All right. Now, 256, if you remember, was a perfect square. All right. So 512 is 2 times 256. All right. And 256 is kind of one of the upper ones that if you're good at math, you should try to remember. All right, because we use that a lot. And the square root of 256 is what? Say it. Well, 7 has to end in a 9. So not 17, but what? 19 has to end in a 1. 13 has to end in a 9. 16, because 16 has to end in a 6. Is everybody with me on that? All right, those are just little things that help me kind of remember that. All right, so now this is the same as negative 8 minus 16 radical 2 over 4. So what does that simplify to now? Exactly. Very good. So that's the same as negative 2 minus 4 radical 2. Anybody have any questions? All right, now 18 was pretty easy. What does 18 break down to again? You don't have to tell me what the perfect square is. Just tell me the square root of 18 is 3 radical 2. That's how. You don't have to break it down. They're small enough. You should just know. 6 plus 3 radical 2 divided by 3, which is equal to 2 plus radical 2. If you put the 1, I'm okay, but it's not necessary. Okay, 55. Simplify the square root of 75. 15 minus, come on, 5 radical 3 all over 5. So the final answer, 3 minus radical 3. Is everybody okay with this? Everybody okay? How do I find the area? Length times width, base times height. So the area here would just be what? Square root of 33. All right, square root of 33. Yesterday we did perimeter because we were adding. Today we do multiplying. All right. Yeah. Wow, I didn't know we could have that much fun in one day, but we did. All right. Is that fun? Why is that funny? That wasn't fun? Yeah, okay, right. All right, so since you had so much fun with that, I'm sure you'll be really entertained on just doing the what now? Evens. That was easy. Now again, The design of the worksheet is, if you don't know how to do number 2, look at number 1. Simple. The even and the odd are very similar. All right? So please go back. Try to get it done before the bell rings. You got 15 minutes. It'd be nice to take a break. All right? Work hard in class. Then you don't have to work as hard for homework.